combat like action sounds. Like the first thing that comes to mind, like when I was trying to think of a sound from like a shooter or an action game or something, the first thing that popped in my head was the energy shield recharge for Halo.
I will say this, like when it comes to like those, like you're that's probably the most iconic, like out of here, like most recognizable. And I wouldn't say iconic, recognizable. The most iconic that you have in this is definitely "Get Over Here."
Oh, dude, without a doubt. And of course, the reason, like you can see where my brain, like you on this list, you can see my head started at FPSs, and then it went to fighting games, and then it went random. Yeah, and the fact that we're going to see Mortal Kombat, which Oh, welcome back. We are here again, episode 28 this week on May 12th. Another one.
Another one.
DJ Khaled style. If only that was like appropriate in the sense that we do have a music-centric episode coming up. So see that.
I can say it again next time.
That's fair. That's fair. But yes, we are back, episode 28, and last week we had our what was going to be quad, but wound up being a duo episode where we talked all things DC, and this week we are getting into audio memory unlocked. That's what our story mode is going to be today, and it is game centric. Don't be deceived by the audio aspect. It is going to be a game centric episode, but specifically kind of around the sounds and soundtracks and music that came from games that kind of defined all things nostalgic as it relates to kind of those sounds, if you will. Our side quests, however, one is right on brand with our story mode, but we got bonus level, which is our niche focus side quest. Specifically today is going to be around collectibles, Legos, statues. The reason,
especially because May the 4th just happened, and
someone went ham
a lot of stuff.
And save it for the side quest to tell us about it. But that's exactly why Legos popped up in my head. Plus some recent announcements on some Lego sets and things. But very just collectible focused. And then we're going to do split screen. Now split screen will stay on brand. That is the segment where we kind of take something very specific and look then and now. Which, since we're talking music and all that jazz and sounds, we're going to be looking about how 8-bit sounds turned into full orchestras when it comes to gaming music. So some of the topics may bleed into story mode, may bleed over into that side quest a little bit, but yes, that's what we have going for you today. And anything else that I missed?
Not in the press start. Like, I think we're good here.
All right, yep, we got press start done. Let's go ahead and just jump right into our story mode, audio memory unlocked. All right, so when this whole concept came up, and I think it's another one that came up in another episode, but specifically, like, my brain always, like, when it comes to all things nostalgic related, I feel like our senses play a role in, like, emotions and feelings and memories and all that. And people say all the time that smell is like the strongest scent. Like you smell something and it reminds you of a time or something or other. But I think that hearing is probably equally as important. And, when it comes to gaming, there's so many like ridiculously iconic sounds. Like, I mean, the first things that come to mind is all your retro stuff. I mean, anyone, and they're not just for gamers either. Like, other people will hear them and know, like the coin sound for Mario. Like, everyone knows, like everyone knows that's the, it's Mario, I mean, and these are, not even, like I said, not even in the gaming culture. It's like, it's just mainstream and really anything, I guess, for Mario. I mean, because the power-up sound is another one that's like super iconic, that comes up all the time. I would say where Link finds an item in Zelda,
The bum 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 bum.
Yeah,
Well, I don't even think that's even the best one. Like mine, when I listen,
Oh, from yeah. See, Ocarina of Time, I think, has so
listen.
many with Navi, and then the when you open the chest, it is that jingle, but it's like more music-fied.
Yeah, because it's like bum 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 bum, and it's like yeah, that it's like
Yeah,
after you're like sitting there on the screen holding the item up, and you hear the sound afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So but it's still iconic. And then I think Sonic, the ring, bling, bling, bling. I think that, and something that's funny. This episode is like a perfect example of when it would be ideal to like play sounds, like have a soundboard to play these sounds. But technically, I believe you're not like allowed to, and I didn't want to take the risk of
Yeah.
playing these sounds and then all of a sudden the episode getting removed or whatever. Um, but they're all like
Well,
I'm confident that the sounds like when we say the
well,
sounds.
the one you don't have on here that's kind of iconic for like the quote unquote retro area is especially since they just announced from you told me this yesterday that they're going to make a new one is do a barrel roll.
Oh, do a barrel roll, Star Fox, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I
and
guess it's more of a phrase than a music sound, but it's still like an iconic, like,
100%. Well,
yeah.
and it became a thing. Do you remember? I don't know if it still works or not. Now I'm gonna totally go and
Are you typing
check
on
it.
Google? If you Google do a barrel roll,
Yeah, if you do it, does it spin? Yeah, it still does it. So if you go to
yeah.
Google and type in "do a barrel roll," it flips, and it specifically is from. So again, a perfect example of gaming bleeding into the mainstream. Um, but then when I was thinking of these retro options, the one that I actually didn't even think of, but Pac-Man, waka 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 waka. I mean, it's just
I
that.
mean, to be fair, if I was walking somewhere and I heard it, I would definitely recognize it like
Oh,
immediately. Like it would be quick. Like
dude,
I would be like, okay, yeah, someone's playing Pac Man.
100%. And I mean, I didn't
I'm gonna
really,
be,
I didn't do a lot with Pac-Man, like, but I do remember, like,
dude.
do you? I don't know.
I was gonna bring something else up too. Just not really. You know, we talked about like how games and stuff like this is obviously super game centric,
Yeah,
and like how our parents and stuff like may have used a joy. Did remember we talked about the joystick and stuff?
yeah, yeah.
That game right there, dude. I didn't know you could beat Pac Man. I watched my dad do it one day in a Walmart.
Yeah, that's the thing when you talk about Pac-Man, you talk about Donkey Kong, you talk about all the like Tetris,
Galaga. He was
Galaga. I
my
didn't
dad.
know you could
We
beat
watched.
those. I thought they were just
Well,
unlimited.
I don't know if you can actually beat Galaga, but Pac Man. We were in. Used to Walmart had them right inside the door, like they had the big arcade machines. We watched Dad beat Pac Man like 2 or 3 times in there. He would.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Do you remember I think they sell them now for the sake of nostalgia, but it was like Gaddy's and Pizza Hut and stuff. They had the glass flat table.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you had the joystick and the buttons right here, and you were looking down on the glass table. But I remember
They have
them.
one at Rec Bar where it's 4 people.
Oh, do they really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, the fact that place is 2 seconds up the road, I need to go up there.
I used to go a lot. We haven't
Yeah, I
been.
need to go check it out. But no, I mean those like your retro sounds, like people hear them, they know them, like they're iconic. But then like you jump into like not a modern era. I don't want to call it a modern era,
This is
but
where I know all of these very very well.
yeah, well, like combat, like action sounds. Like the first thing that comes to mind, like when I was trying to think of a sound from like a shooter or an action game or something, the first thing that popped in my head was the energy shield recharge for Halo.
I will say this, like when it comes to like those, like you're that's probably the most iconic, like out of here, like most recognizable. And I wouldn't say iconic, recognizable. The most iconic that you have in this is definitely get over here.
Oh, dude, without a doubt. And of course, the reason, like you can see where my brain, like you on this list, you can see my head started at FPSs, and then it went to fighting games, and then it went random. Yeah, and the fact that we're going to see Mortal Kombat, which by the way, next week's episode will probably make it a point to talk about that movie, just because I'm so fired. It's like I think that's the first
Well, it's
movie of the this season that I'm fired up for.
yeah, like Galaxy was good, but I wasn't like I was excited for Galaxy, like, but I was not like, okay, I have to see it day one. My movie is in a couple weeks, and I will see it twice in 2 days.
Mandalorian and Grogu. That's another one though.
Um,
We got a good movie season.
yeah, so but like I will say, I definitely knew the hit marker, which it's to me the hit marker sound kind of changed.
Yeah, that's what
Thank
like
God.
well,
Like you wrote that on here, but like that's something that like it changes. Like
but when I think of the hit marker in COD though, and like if I were to hear it and it'd be familiar, it would be the one from the early era. You know,
where it's like
Modern Warfare,
it's like
Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, like that's the one that would immediately ring a bell and like take me back. Because now it's changed and you know all that and
well, just talking about like there's so many sound cues in games in general. Like I know we're getting ready to go into like these are just like sound cues you hear in game while you're playing and stuff like that. So like just talking about that, like which I know you won't know this because it's not a game you play, but like you can ask me and Wayne, like if you was to go through and take Smite sound cues and put them in,
I was gonna say you're gonna say
you
Smite,
wouldn't know.
aren't you?
Well, because like there's some definitive, like you can be across map, and if you hear a Thorol, you'll hear the hammer start swinging.
Yeah.
And it's like Thorol, 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 and you look up, and sure enough, he's standing up. He's up in the sky. And then there's like Thanatos' sound cues really big with his ult, and like just that's what I'm getting at though. Like so, sound cues are super. Like they're how you play the game a lot of times because like there's a lot of times you don't see something, but you hear something, and it changes how you play the game.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing that like I think sound is just as important in games, and I'm sure, and that's the thing. I mean, obviously, sound is important when you think competitive because hearing footsteps and stuff like that. But they're just so iconic. And you said get over here for Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat has so damn many. Finish him for the fatalities. Toasty or whoopsie, whatever it was. That's one. Which I was watching some old stuff of why people were hating on the first Mortal Kombat movie, not the OG, but the one from 2021. Apparently, that's one of the things people didn't like is how they dropped in these lines: fatality, flawless victory, finish him, and I'm like, dude, that stuff's awesome. Why are you knocking?
I don't know. There was a lot of people that were super upset with stuff about the first movie. I thought the first movie was fantastic.
Yeah, it's just this whole thing of an original character, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and I ain't gonna lie, that whenever Hanzo actually said it, I waited forever for Get Over Here.
Yeah.
I waited for it because I knew it was coming. And then he finally said it like in that last fight, and I was like, okay, there it is.
Now I will say, sound wise, and I know technically it's from the movie, but the Technodrome like Mortal Kombat theme, the very iconic, specific, but very specific one, because they do play that theme a wee bit in the first movie when he says "Get over here," but it's a variation of it. I want the exact version that started, Mortal Kombat. Dun, dun, dun. I want that version in this new movie. I don't know if it's going to be there, but
probably I doubt they're going to do the full thing. But like, what I like about it is like,
oh yeah, so, did you see it? Kind of creeped. It's right above where your cursor is, but the other COD sound that like is super. And I know it's not a COD sound because my understanding is the actual gun makes the same sound. But the M1 Grand,
it's from COD 3. Wherever when you reload it, and it goes, and it like pops.
Bling. Yeah. Like, but to me, like it's from COD. Like if I were to be out at a gun range and hear it, I'd be like, oh, it's from. I'd be that annoying person being like, oh, it's from COD.
Yeah, that gets the guy from Fortnite.
Oh my gosh, I do hate when I hear that. I do hate when I hear that.
So, now some of these like,
well,
the other ones,
I mean, to me.
The Metal Gear one, of course, is
that is the most important, and what I would argue the most.
Well, now I know when I hear it, it's your phone. So,
well, now it's not on my phone anymore. But
did you change it?
I did change it, and I changed it to one that we'll talk about later. But that sound, the alert sound, what's so funny is I always will affiliate it with Metal Gear, like nothing else. I'll never forget. I was hanging out with. I was at the house several years ago, and I hear that sound, and it wasn't my phone. I was like, "What in the world?"
Because you had that as your ringtone forever for the past couple
Ever.
years.
And I was like, what in the world are they watching on YouTube that has the Metal Gear Alert sound? And then I've learned over time, because Brian's kids watch YouTube, and William watches YouTube, and there are a boatload of content creators that use the Metal Gear Alert sound, like as part of like their transitions or a highlight or something
Where
like
they
that.
like bought rights to it or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it just I hear it everywhere, and as soon as I hear it, it's like, oh, Metal Gear, like every single time. Like to me, like for me, that's like the most iconic sound from a game, but it's because Metal Gear is my jam. Like, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, like it's my favorite.
Yeah.
But then you've got the and I wasn't big. I know it's technically like one of the biggest games of all time, but I haven't played much of it. But the apparently the creeper hiss in Minecraft, there's a lot of people that like as soon as they hear that, they're just instantly like taken back. I haven't done a lot with Minecraft, so I actually like I went
I haven't either, but
but
I
I
mean,
have heard it. Like when I went and hit play on it, I was like, okay, I've heard that. I didn't necessarily know where it was from.
but you got to say, Minecraft from the. Remember we did that episode with where we guessed the
It was like
biggest game of
the
all time.
first or second one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so like I mean, that would make sense. Something from Minecraft being like super noticeable.
Yeah, yeah.
So the door, and you wrote on it the door creak for Resident Evil. I didn't think about that, but you're probably right. Like the door opening, like in between on the loading screens and stuff.
Yeah, because even with their, you know, Resident Evil 9, the most next gen, they still have their very basic door, black screen transition stuff. Like they obviously have the technology now to do something different, but they've really maintained that consistent methodology and that same sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I think outside of games, though, I mean, and there's so many. Like, obviously, we're not going to talk about every single game that has some kind of iconic sound that is known to all gamers, but not just gamers. But I think the system and the UI sounds that are with regard to consoles and specific games are probably just as, if not more. I see which one you highlighted.
that's my favorite startup screen of any system ever.
Dude, the GameCube startup.
So the GameCube startup screen is my favorite startup screen, and it was funny because like I was playing. Remember I told you I was playing downloaded something. I was playing what was the game that I played off of the GameCube, like the remaster thing, the Nintendo put out. But it actually does
XD Gale of Darkness.
yeah, but it does that. Like
yes.
It does so it made me
well.
Like,
so so what's funny is it's a certain combination of buttons.
And it changes it.
That when you open it from the Switch UI and you press those buttons, when it comes up, it'll do the whole digga thing. And dude, what's funny is one of the videos that William watches is the GameCube opening, but they repeat it. So like they'll play it going once, then going 10 times, then 20 times, then 100 times. And I love it. Like I'm not annoyed by it because I love that sound.
Yeah. That's the best startup screen because the other ones are like they did the like Sony's was always the zoom.
Well, in the first PlayStation had the thing I remember about the first PlayStation. I started this whole thing talking about senses, and we're talking about our sense of hear, but also I remember sitting in a dark room, booting up the PS1, and it starts with that THX like real loud. But the screen was white and bright as shit. Like if you were sitting in a dark room and you turned your play, and it was followed by the black screen, so you literally turn on your PlayStation in a dark room and your eyes are hurting and shit. And it's funny actually that we're talking about this today because they just announced, and I think it's coming out this Wednesday. Apparently, they are pushing a firmware update to all Xboxes, and the Xbox is getting a new boot screen. with apparently, their new updated green logo kind of going back to their roots. I can't wait to see what it is because I don't think any of the current consoles have any kind of iconic startup or anything. Like, honestly, like when I think of the Xbox
Yeah,
startup now and the PS5 startup now,
yeah,
they're not iconic, but PlayStation, PS2, PS3, and then original Xbox had the whole, with the little
yeah. In
ball
the sense,
thing.
like, oh, here we go. We're about to play.
Yeah,
So,
the
but
360.
however, you do have one here, and I'm gonna just skip down just a little bit. It's still in U.S. sounds, but when an achievement pops,
Dude,
dude, I'll never forget. Like, you're trying to find something, like, and it's great whenever like you're trying to get like. I can't imagine because I believe Rob asked seriously. I can't imagine like hearing that achievement pop with seriously on the original Gears and like you look it up. Like that's just the first one that comes to mind. But I'm just saying like one of them that takes forever to play. Like for instance, there was one with was it Crisis where you had to play the game and then you had to log off for like 3 years or
oh, and
two
then log
years
back on
and
or
then
something.
log back on. Yeah.
Dude, trophies and achievements both, like their sound, like this sounds annoying, but there are games that like I know would be super ideal to play on the Switch that come out on everything, but I will get on one of those. And look, I'm not a trophy hunter. I'm not an achievement hunter. But it's
But it's
something
it's
about the
nice to
damn
have something to
sound.
go. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's nice to have something to go, and then it's like you hear stuff pop, and it's like, oh, what did I get?
Yeah, it's like, oh, piece of candy. I mean, it's such. And by the way, so my phone has transitioned from the Metal Gear Alert sound to the PlayStation Trophy sound. So that's what I switched to.
Oh, okay.
But see, that's the thing too. Hearing these sounds, like that's something I find funny. If you're out somewhere and someone else has the Metal Gear Alert sound, the Sonic Coin sound, the trophy sound, the achievement
I
sound.
feel like the Sonic Coin sound's the one that I hear the most.
But if people have that on their phone, it's like an instant conversation starter. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to go that route, like I've had my phone go off with Metal Gear, and people be like, "Nice Metal Gear." I'm like, "Yeah," and then, I mean, it's just there's such iconic sounds that again gamers know. Now I would say some of these are gamer specific. Like if you hear the achievement sound or the trophy sound, people probably don't know it if they don't game. But I told you right before we started recording, I don't even know what you call this sound. It's not the achievement sound, but the sound on the Xbox when something finishes downloading.
Yeah.
I had queued up Mortal Kombat to download because I know I'm going to want to play it after we record. And it has so much DLC that right when we jumped in, I heard ding, 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 ding. Like in the other room, I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah. Well, the other one you have on here, like talking about, like, dude, you put the HP beeping for Pokemon and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
when,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
boom. That's not even the one that bothers. Whenever a Pokemon's poisoned and you're trying to rush to
Uh,
the PC, yeah, and
and
your
how the
screen just
screen
shakes.
shakes,
Yeah.
dude. And that's the thing. Like, there's sounds in games that we talked about, but the other sounds that are part of these UIs, that Pokemon HP beeping is like it's just like being in the car and like I mean I know you shouldn't drive without a seatbelt, but like my car, if there's weight in the passenger seat, it detects a person. And since I've been moving a bunch of stuff, dude, the first 10 minutes of my drive is having to listen to this beep. And it's
Yeah.
reminding me of the Pokemon beep, and it stresses me out. And it's just like, oh my God, please stop. But it takes
And
me.
then the Pokemon evolution sounds another one that's
Well, and I got to give Brian props to that one because I asked him, I was like, look, man, I got this list of sounds. I said, but I know there's some that I'm forgetting. And the two Pokemon ones were the ones that I did not even think of. And I'm like, good Lord. I was like, Austin probably would have called me on that anyway if I hadn't put anything from Pokemon.
yeah.
But
From Pokemon Poison is the one that,
I forgot all
because it's,
about that one.
well, it's something it's not just in a battle. Like it's like when you're walking around, it's that you hear the like burp. But it's like the
I remember the first time playing Pokemon and that happened though. Like I didn't know what it was doing, and then all of a sudden it pops up. Your Pokemon is fainted. It's like what? I mean, as a kid,
yeah.
you don't know or understand that stuff.
Well, I remember. So I was watching somebody just real quick, like that sound, and this is one of the things that I saw it on a TikTok the other day. He was doing a Nuzlocke on Leaf Green. So if your Pokemon dies, it's gone. Like you
Oh,
can't use it anymore. You put it in a box, and there's a box that's called a dead box, and
what? What is this
yeah.
called?
It's a challenge. It's a Nuzlocke, so it's to make the game.
Nuzlocke?
Mhm.
Oh.
So, and basically what it is there's like different factors. Like you basically put restrictions on the game. It's not like whenever,
Oh, like your own restrictions.
yeah, to make it to where it makes the game a little bit more difficult to
Yeah.
where, so like, for instance, they do with rounds or whatever, they'll make it to where it's a randomizer. So like your starter Pokemon aren't
Oh.
starter Pokemon. You may start with a Caterpie or yeah, like as the starter Pokemon.
No
But
kidding.
the second your Pokemon die or faints, it goes in a box and you can't use it again for the rest of the playthrough.
No kidding.
Yeah, like my buddy's doing one where he's playing through all the games. So what he's doing is he called it a Gen Lock. So
Yeah.
it's basically you start at Gen 1
Yep.
and they have a way to do it. It's all done on ROMs, but you pretty much you play each game like a Nuzlocke, but your team, say you end the game with 6 mons in the original game,
Yeah.
you start this next game with all of those Pokemon at level 5. So you carry them over to each game.
Oh. Is it all just locked down to Gen 1? Because I would be on for that
No,
stuff.
no, no,
Oh,
because you
okay.
do well. Because what you do is like you when you get to like you still have the same because like there's even restrictions on like the Pokemon you can catch. You can't just go catch everybody.
Oh.
It's your first like interaction with a Pokemon. Which talking about Pokemon, when you run into a Pokemon
Oh
when you're
yeah,
walking
the
around,
battle start
yeah,
and all that. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, well, before we move past UI, but I want to keep with Pokemon. Um, I was trying to think of iconic like pause menus um, off the top of my head when I was making this, and the main one that pops in my head was GoldenEye. Like it had just such a cool you know, playing that GoldenEye
you know
theme.
what? Now that I didn't even think about that being the pause menu because I was sitting here trying to figure out what the sound was. Now that you said that, I was like, okay, yeah, because it's like yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Well, it's like the startup screen pause menu all together. Like they kind of do the same thing.
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there are other like iconic pause menus. I couldn't think of any off the top of my head except for GoldenEye. But no, the but I want to keep with Pokemon because Red and Blue. Well, all the Pokemon, but Red and Blue. So outside of sounds and UI system sounds and things like that, the early era of like soundtracks and scores. So with Pokemon, I mean, those songs, like I know you just got the vinyl for Red and Blue. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
got all those original songs, but those 8-bit songs like are awesome. And I mean, there are people who cover them like as music, like as songs. And of course, you know, in Pocopia, their whole thing is you can find the CDs, and the CDs have the original songs. And you know, I think every CD player I have in my little town in Pocopia is playing one of the songs from Red and Blue, like Pallet Town, the battle
Hmm.
theme. You know, like they had these very recognizable 8-bit tracks, like, and I mean, it's just on a Game Boy. Like that's all it was. But you've got these songs that like bands have covered and stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
in Pokemon, I think is one of the trailblazers of that. I mean, I think there's definitely others. You know, Chrono Trigger is another one that is older, 8-bit. You know that people have covered these soundtracks, you know, and modernized them in a way with like you know, these are 8-bit songs, you know, the Chrono Trigger theme, Frog's theme. Now, I know you didn't, I don't think you played Chrono Trigger.
no,
See, and I'm telling you, with how we just finished, because I say we, because we both played and finished it, Dragon Quest, and you know, of course, Expedition, which is definitely going to be a topic of discussion through here. You need to play Chrono Trigger. The problem is how you would play it because it's not on the Switch. It's on Steam, but I don't know if there's an easy way for you to play it. Basically, but it's like one of the most iconic JRPGs, And
Well,
again, the
we had
music.
this conversation because we were talking about that, how like with me liking Dragon Quest the way I did, that I needed that I needed Chrono Trigger, and then there was another one that I think we were talking
Do
about
you know what? Do you still have a DS?
somewhere, but I know that game is like stupid expensive.
Yeah, that's true. But you know that Howie probably has it
Yeah, you're probably right.
since he literally doesn't get rid of anything, as we've learned and known for so
Yeah.
long. But then also that kind of early era 8-bit though. I mean, Legend of Zelda. If I had to say the probably the two most iconic 8-bit that I can think of, I mean Zelda,
Zelda
Pokemon.
definitely, which will I know it's part of our side quest, so I'm waiting to talk about it then, but the Zelda for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Well, and I know there's others. There's Mega Man and there's Sonic and and all that. But for me, the first time I ever bought a video game soundtrack like on a CD, it's kind of niche, but the Lunar games, Lunar and Lunar Two Eternal Blue came with the soundtrack in the collector's edition. But it was another one with an amazing soundtrack. And we're talking
Well,
scores.
though, like I feel like we could talk about it on this one too, but like even then, like just talking about scores, which I know we're getting to get into like the heavy games and stuff like that. Some of the animes now are even doing like full orchestras, like
Oh, dude.
scores. Like they just did a whole Naruto thing, and like Blue Jay from Naruto is one of the most recognizable, in my opinion, one of the most recognizable songs from any anime.
I would agree with that. And I'm not even. I mean, I haven't finished Naruto. I know. I'm aware, and I will get to it at some point in time. And I apologize profusely, but I would agree that that's probably the most
Well, but
iconic.
even you not finishing, I can play that song and you're gonna be like, oh, it's from Naruto. Like, you
Right,
know what I mean? So,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
it's really cool because like I actually had some. I watched a video one time and it was this girl and she sang it like how it's supposed to be, like in Japanese. But then she translated it and sang it in English.
Yes.
Do you see? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Oh yeah.
did you
Yeah.
see that
Yeah. Yeah.
video?
Yeah. No,
But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, that video was really cool. Does not sound as good in English just because like the way that the words work.
Yeah, the intonation and stuff.
Yeah,
I've noticed that a lot with the anime openings when they translate them. Some now I feel some they do pretty good, like the Dragon Ball Super opening that translated pretty well. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of good ones. But no, the scores, like when I think of scores and kind of where the music for games really started to become more involved. Like I'll give Howie his flowers and mention his before I mention mine. But Final Fantasy. I mean, now
mm-hmm.
OG Final Fantasies, of course, had their 8-bit sounds and all that, but with Final Fantasy 7, I mean, and I'm not even going to attempt. I mean, I guess I'll try to attempt. The name, what's his, Nobu Umatsu is the composer who did Final Fantasy 7. I mean, you had the battle theme, of course. You've got One Winged Angel,
Yeah.
Aerith's theme, and of course Final Fantasy's iconic.
Yeah, for the metal.
And every one has some kind of variation of that. I can't remember if it was 7, 8, or 9 that it had that, and then it kept going into like a fun little piece after it.
Mm. Well, the one that you have on here, well, we'll talk about yours first, and then we'll go.
Well, so all things Final Fantasy in general, but definitely 7 is the most iconic. But Metal Gear Solid, okay, it's my jam. It is my favorite thing of all time. I love all of them. But the original soundtrack was scored by Harry Gregson Williams, and I went down a rabbit hole like thinking, oh, is he related to John Williams? And no, but Harry Gregson Williams and the theme for Metal Gear, and not really the theme, but one of the key songs from it is related to Rupert Gregson Williams, who's worked with Hans Zimmer on various scores. And if you listen to the score of The Thin Red Line and you listen to the theme from Metal Gear, it is insane how closely aligned they are. And this is that era, and we'll talk about it in our side quest, where people have transitioned into the scores, but they also had The Best Is Yet to Come and other, kind of great songs that were a part of it too. But there's so many other Metal Gear themes. The old Snake theme from Metal Gear 4 is insane. I mean, there's just so many.
So, mine was gonna be like Zelda is the one that.
But you already brought up Navi, and I forgot to put
Yeah,
Navi
well,
on here.
but talking about like that's that's a
Sound.
just a quip, like is the best way to put it. Like it's just a quip. Like it's just like you hear what it is. The music in this game when you walk in and out of like buildings and like when you walk into certain buildings and it's like that like
Everything.
like and it changes depending on where you're at and then like when you're fighting somebody or like at this and even like when you play songs on the ocarina like the outburst like afterwards like it's just
Oh, yeah. I mean,
which that's which I'll talk about it more in the side quest. That's the one concert that I've been to.
Yeah. No, that's exactly where I figure we'll get into that. But yeah, the ocarina songs, like there's several that I can remember, but Zelda's Lullaby, and then the Song of Storms. That's the. Is it the do do do? No, that's the Change the Day.
No, that
What's
should be it's
Yeah, that's it. That's
yeah.
it. Okay. Yeah. So, but Zelda's another one. I mean, and Zelda had their 8-bit icons, but then Ocarina of Time became more iconic. And then, from again looking kind of the more modern era, Halo, like that thing, everyone knows. I feel everyone, even who's not a gamer, knows the Halo theme. Like it is, dude. The amount of people I see on TikTok, and I would say the Halo 2 theme is the best version of it because it's got that shredding electric guitar right there at the beginning. That but the theme itself, the singing, I'm not even going to try and do that part. There's so many people on TikTok who will go into stairwells and parking garages and stuff and do that, because of
Yeah.
the reverb and the ambiance and stuff. But oh, it's so good. Like,
Well, I know this is very like right now we're very focused on like games, but like movies sometimes have some stuff that are like that too. Like they're super recognizable immediately. Like the beginning of Lion King, like if that was to play, like obviously Disney's, but
yeah, who did Lion King?
who did Lion King, Chase?
It was Hans Zimmer. It was Hans Zimmer did Lion King.
I know. But that's just what I was getting at. So like now, like
Well, and that's the thing. Movies have always had their scores and stuff, but now we get into these modern
yeah.
games, and I mean, you've got some hella themes, like hella themes. I mean,
Well,
Halo's the obvious one, but
Expedition 33, of course, like that's
oh,
fantastic. I actually was there's sometimes like I'll put it on the background when like when I'm cleaning or something just to have something playing.
dude, and I still need to get. It came out in February, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I need to get the vinyl for that. Because and what blows my mind is with Expedition, they found the guy on SoundCloud. Like that, the dude was on SoundCloud, and that's who did the music for that
I didn't
game.
know that.
Yes, like in this dude, his name escapes me right now, but I mean he is going to be snagged up to do music for so many different games.
But you know what you don't have on here?
What? Uh-oh.
Why is Ghost of Yotei not on here?
Oh man, I am
Mm-hmm.
disappointed in myself for
I'm
not.
disappointed.
Well,
I'm very disappointed.
oh man, because the thing about Yote, that daggone instrument that you play, what's it called?
Yeah, the
Oh man, um,
if you didn't would have asked me, I would have been able to tell you.
yeah, I know. It's called a Shamisen.
Yeah, Shamisen.
And dude, yes, okay. That game is another one with some epic music, but I wound up on the side of TikTok when that game came out with the guy who had done a lot of the music for that playing his shamisen with him. He's got siblings that play, and dude, I could listen to that instrument for days.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like
I didn't even think about that. But no, I mean some of the other iconic scores and soundtracks, though. I mean, The Last of Us, they've got a great theme. Now, I will say the thing that I do like about Last of Us and Halo, because both of those have games and TV shows. Now, we don't need to talk about the shows, but they did maintain the themes for the opening credits. Like they used the Last of Us theme, they used the Halo theme. Thank God, because I was so worried they weren't going to. Death Stranding. Death Stranding 1 and 2. Now, that's another one. It's Hideo Kojima, therefore he can do no wrong. Therefore, it's like Metal Gear. But they partnered with Woodkid and had an amazing score, which, by the way, Woodkid, who partnered with Kojima to do music in Death Stranding, he is doing music in, oh my gosh, I didn't put it on this list either. Good Lord. Black Flag.
the remake, or no, it's not a remake. It's
is what they're calling it.
That's what it is.
But I can't believe I didn't put the shanties from that.
Oh, those are fantastic,
dude.
Well,
and then there's Mass Effect, of course, and then Skyrim. Like,
well, a lot of your your big RPGs are going to be like that. Like they usually have really good scores. Like,
dude.
Well, but then that's just for the scores of the games. Like. That are made specifically for the games. Now, if you go into just soundtracks, like soundtracks of games, like there's one on here you do not have, and it's only because I would be the one that would know this.
I'm curious which one it is. I thought I grabbed kind of the major ones.
You did, but do you remember what one of the biggest songs for Call of Duty was? It was on COD. It was COD. Black Ops, was it 2 or Black Ops 3?
No, what?
Eminem did the theme song for it.
That's right. I forgot it was in the commercial.
Yes, and it played like on the opening of it.
Yes.
It was him and Pink that did it.
Yeah, it was called Survival, and it was part of Call of Duty Ghosts.
Oh no, he did it. He did it more than that.
Oh, okay.
There's a song that he did with Pink.
Oh, and then Till I Collapse.
That's it.
Yeah, that was in the Modern Warfare 2 one.
Yeah,
Won't Back Down is the one featuring Pink.
Oh, and that should have been on Black Ops 2?
It was Black Ops 1. Yeah,
Black Ops 1. Okay.
I did not even think about that. Yeah, because obviously
that's what I was getting at, is because like these are all like major songs. Well, that's a huge artist.
I didn't even think about that.
But he's partnered with like multiple games. Like he's done multiple songs for them.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Because for me, when I think of the single most iconic video game soundtrack of all time, I immediately think of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like immediately.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did the 1 and 2 remake, the 3 and 4 remake, and I have bought and played them both, and they maintained the soundtrack. I mean, that was something I think anyone who wanted a Tony Hawk remake had said, like, you better keep the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had Goldfinger, Dead Kennedys, Rage Against the Machine, Suicide Machines, like just super, super iconic skate music that thank God they kept. I mean, and what's funny is I'm also on the side of TikTok that is like all about Bam Margera right now, which is fine. I'm glad to see Bam Margera is doing very well. But I totally booted up Tony Hawk Pro Skater the other day just because I was seeing Bam skate, and in the 3 and 4 remake, you can play as Bam.
I saw a video the other day talking about the loop.
Yes. How he kept falling, all the concussions, and he managed to do it one time.
How hurt he got from doing it, and then he did it one time, was like, I'll never get on it again, because they were like trying to.
Was it the video where he was?
They're like, yeah, we're building the loop.
Yeah, and he was like, you better not, or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not getting on it. I'm done. I'm not doing it again. Yeah. I did it one time. I'm good.
No, but Tony Hawk always comes to mind. I feel bad I didn't think about the COD examples, But
Well, the only like I said, the big thing about that is like just these like you go into like Need for Speed Underground, like everybody knows Lil Jon, like that's
dude,
the first one.
that's another one.
Like
Like Tony
it's a
Hawk
good.
comes to mind
Well,
first. Very next is Need for Speed Underground.
I was gonna say, sports games nowadays are the only things that like have
Consistently.
soundtracks because the licenses, like the soundtracks, are made by like they're all your big name stars are in them. Like,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
and it's like and sometimes I think they even change the music in them sometimes.
Sometimes, and that's the thing. Like GTA Vice City, that's that PS2 era. Around Need for Speed Underground. But like they had Michael Jackson, they had Toto, and like in the game as part of the game, but then also their whole thing like with the radio. They had a lot of unique original songs, but then they would have licensed stuff splashed in.
Yeah.
And then now modern GTA 5, like they get licensing like
Oh, the
on a
new one is
whim,
probably the new
and
one's
they
gonna
keep,
probably have like everything. Like you
dude.
turn to it's gonna just like have like live stations and stuff.
I could watch GT. I mean, for GTA 6 is going to be so economically huge. I could see this sounds ludicrous. I do love ludicrous, but this sounds ludicrous. But
Get back.
dude. It is insane how much of his songs I know word for word. Like when I was driving back today, I was listening to my random playlist, and What's Your Fantasy came on, and I think I know that whole song like verbatim. But
It's a good song.
yeah. But what's ludicrous is, and I bet they could do it. I bet GTA 6 could come out with a mobile app that's just their radio station, and
And somebody people would download and listen to
people
it.
would download and listen to
To
it.
be fair, GTA could do about anything and people would buy it.
Yeah, yeah. But no, the other song, it's not, and it's definitely a unique one, but that comes to mind that I think of. But in Halo 2, and I can't remember what level, but I remember you're kind of going through an area, not you're not fighting any enemies, but you're going into like a big hall that has two hunters and then a bunch of elite. Oops, whoopsie, a bunch of elites come out and all that, and it's
Makes you think of Mortal Kombat.
no, I hit my camera over here.
I know, but it makes you think of because I think he's saying toasty, but I hear whoopsie.
Yeah, but it starts playing this song by Breaking Benjamin. It's like dun 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 dun. Like it's freaking like I remember the first time I played Halo 2's campaign, it was co-op with my buddy Quentin, and that era is also when I was big into the local music stuff, and he was in a band and all that. So we loved Breaking Benjamin, and when that song came on, it was like, oh, dude, like that to me was like now it had no lyrics, like it was just the instrumental, but it's so good. And
Yeah.
I think they removed it from, because I think I remember playing the Master Chief Collection and I was expecting it, and I think they removed it, which pissed me off. I could be remembering that wrong, but I think that's what happened. I could be mistaken. And then there's others though. I mean, soundtrack wise, the Burnout games had good soundtracks.
A lot of your racing games had like decent like
Yeah.
soundtracks, like with licensings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then of course you brought up the sports games. I will say,
Sports games are the ones nowadays, like I said, that have them the most. Like I played 2K I was playing 2K a while ago with a couple of our buddies, and it's all your new music. Like it's
yeah. Well, and I will say before we wrap up our story mode and jump into our side quest, there's a song in like Madden 24 or 25 maybe, I don't know. It's called Shawshank, and the it's a rap song, and the guy says something about Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Completely threw me off. I'm sitting here playing Madden. I think it was 23 or 24. And yeah, the song's
you
called
played Madden.
Yeah, I played Madden and won the Super Bowl on like I think I played 23, 24, or 25. I think. I've done it 3 years in a row. I don't think I've played 26 yet.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never thought you played Madden.
Yeah. Well, it's the Chiefs thing and all that. No, I got really into playing Madden there for a little while.
I mean, you can't do a sit up, but you'll play a sports game.
All right. So I think that's going to do it for our story mode.
Just saying, that's a shout out to Rob. Like,
Shout out to Rob. Yeah,
that's a classic.
Do a sit up. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our side quests. We're going to do our first one, which is going to be bonus level. All right, so bonus level today specifically. We're going to jump back into the music stuff in just a second, but bonus level, we want to talk about collectibles, Legos, etc. And the whole reason that this even was a side quest is because of Austin and because of May the 4th. And someone decided to well, first off, before
All
we
right, so I
yeah,
already
go
had the
ahead.
Legos.
Go,
To
yeah,
be fair,
go
I
ahead.
already had the Legos. I just needed the cases. The Legos were already at my house. One of them's already built. One of them's like a fourth of the way
Yeah,
built.
which ones are you working on right now?
So I have. So for Christmas last year, I basically had a Lego Christmas. For my dad and mom found the Lego that I've dreamed about owning forever. It's like a $600 Lego. It's the Razor Crest. As I've spoke before, like Mandalorian, Mando is probably Mando and Maul are my two favorite characters in all of Star Wars. I love both. Like those two are fantastic. I cannot wait for the Mandalorian movie. So I had the Razor Crest. Well, this website, it's called Wicked Bricks, had a May the 4th sale, and I have younger kids, so I bought these cases, and they're like acrylic, like super high density, like nice cases. Like the back of them have make it look like they're jumped in light speed and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the back's like designed to where it looks like the
Is it like the black with like the white lines and
yeah,
stuff?
and it looks like they're going through light speed. So, but I have a not the big Millennium Falcon. It's like $900, but I have a smaller Millennium Falcon. I have an Imperial Destroyer that I'm going to build, and then I have a Razor Crest that I bought cases for.
Now the Razor Crest is you're still working on, right?
Yeah, but the Razor Crest is massive. Like the Razor Crest is the biggest one. It's the one that's not even in print anymore. I have no idea how my dad found it, but he found it, and that was the shock of Christmas last year. But the Wicked Brick site is like, so it's coming from England is what it is. But that's one of the reasons why they were so expensive, but they were not cheap, but they're very, very high quality from every review that I've seen. So I'm hoping they come in and I'm as happy with them as everybody else says, but that's what Legos are kind of my thing. That's what I use as my collectibles around mine. Like, and almost every collectible I talk about nowadays will be Star Wars.
Well, and that makes sense. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's your jam, you know. I mean,
So, well, even talking about like moving away from Legos, like, so they just had, so on May the 4th every year, they have a drop where Disney drops a ton of Star Wars stuff. Like, I spent more money on May the 4th than I probably really wanted to. But I don't care either. But they have like, it just this year, the reason it was so much more than what I normally spend is because the entire focus was Darth Maul and Mando. Because
I still need to watch that damn show.
Well, the Maul show and then the Mando movie.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Is focused. Like a lot of what came out is focused. Like the clothes were focused on them. Like, so I bought like the Darth Maul. There's a specific limited edition Darth Maul statue where it's Maul jumping through the air and he has his saber above his head.
Is it the dual saber?
Yeah. Have you not seen it?
No.
Well, don't worry, you'll see it. I bought it.
Was it a Disney exclusive?
Yeah, it's exclusive on their shop. I don't even know if you can still buy it. I think it's sold out already.
Well, but I should be able to. Oh my god!
Share your screen so I can see if you're looking at the right one. It should be 150.
Yeah, hold on. It is. I mean, ignore the fact that it's probably not.
Yeah, that's it. I bought that.
Dude, that's legit.
Yeah, that's the one I bought. It should be here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, so I did not realize that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so they do that every year for May the 4th, and it's just
that makes sense. And right now the focus is on because of the Maul show and the Mando Grogu movie. Yeah. No, so I need to get back into Legos a little more. Like I've got I did the Lego Game Boy thing, and I've got my little Lego Skyline from Fast and Furious, you know. But
mine are much larger than the ones you normally do.
Well, that's okay. Size isn't everything. So, you know, I mean,
I've been told that a lot in my life.
Well, you know.
So like that Falcon, that's what's crazy. So that Falcon that I built that you've seen,
yeah,
with all the movable parts and stuff, that is like not even an eighth of the scale. So Becca's brother has the big one, dude. I mean,
Oh.
it almost would take up half my desk if you built it. Like it's
Holy
that big.
crap. See,
Like it's
and
huge.
see, I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that feels that building something like that would be very therapeutic and very nice. And if I had, like,
It just takes a lot of time. So like
well,
I've
because
done.
my bucket list Lego set is the Daily Bugle. Like, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, they've got a big Daily Bugle that you can
Oh
build
yeah,
with
yeah,
Spider
I
Man and
have.
stuff. Like, that's the one I'd like to get. But I will tell you this right now. Like, they've apparently announced, like, there's a bunch of Zelda sets that have come out and are coming out.
Hmm.
They've confirmed a Sega Genesis coming out, and then it's heavily rumored that they're going to have a Fat Boy PS2 Lego build, which I will instantly buy, no matter what
Yeah.
it costs.
So Legos, like I said, I pretty much focus heavily now. Like I still have some of the other stuff, which I'm actually debating on. I was talking to Becca
Yeah,
about this the other day,
because
kind of getting rid of them.
what's your other Lego stuff? Don't you have Hogwarts?
I have the smaller Hogwarts. I like that's the one thing Lego does that's really cool. Like they're still time consuming, but it's like they'll make like the Falcon and Hogwarts are two really good examples. So they make two scales of it basically,
Yeah.
and like all it is when you get the bigger share, obviously it's way bigger. But on top of that, you can see stuff and like you can open windows on the bigger ones and like
Yeah.
see inside. So like my Falcon, for instance, like when you open it, like there's actually like tables set up and like there's Dinjark and stuff like that, which like there's the dartboards there, which is the game they play on
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
Falcon.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, so um that's cool. Which I also bought that because that came out on May 4th.
Well, that's fair. Well, no, and I know you brought up Darth Maul and the statues. You know, the thing, like, I got really deep into collecting statues, as you know, like back in 2016. Like, I had walls of statues and all kinds of stuff. I mean, mainly Dragon Ball, but I had a lot of different anime and stuff, and
Well, I've,
not just Funkos, like legit statues.
yeah, so that's what I was gonna say too, because like that's something that like I got to the point where I started buying stuff, and then now I'm like I don't even know why I bought that.
Yeah, and see, I downsized for a various slew of reasons, and but my original plan of downsizing is I was going to start getting into the big nice resin like massive
They're
statues.
expensive.
Well, they are, but see, what's interesting now is like you go on TikTok or anywhere else and you see these massive resins that they're selling for like $100 or something, but it's because people are 3D printing the shit. And
They're not the
not to knock 3D printing because Howie has printed some amazing things. But the thing is, like back in the day, I knew instantly when I was buying a Ban Presto statue whether I was buying a counterfeit or not. Now, dude, these counterfeits and 3D printed stuff are good.
yeah.
like like I mean, there's still a part of me that very much wants the official, but there are some of these that you can't tell. Like I have a Vegeta and Trunks statue inside my PC that's a counterfeit. But if I didn't tell you it was a counterfeit, you probably wouldn't know. You know, and actually that was not a known counterfeit purchase. I actually didn't know it was counterfeit until I got it. I was like, well, damn. But it looked good, so I didn't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Well, then just talking about not even just that, like just going into like now we're moving to like the collector's editions. That's where it really got me because like for
Dude,
instance,
back
like
in the
I
day,
have
it's
a
so
really cool
good.
statue, and I've talked about it before, like the order. But like now,
Yes.
I haven't played that game in forever, and I'm thinking about moving that, like getting rid of it or something, because I want just everything to be Star Wars.
Well, no,
So
and
like
that makes sense.
I just that's what I want. So like
Is
I'm
that the statue with the dude like falling back and
the
shooting up
werewolf,
at
yeah,
the yeah?
yeah, it's the werewolf, yeah.
Well, and that's the
It's a
thing.
really really cool statue, and I really really liked the game. Like I did really like the game.
Well, and that's the thing. The collector's editions, back when physical games were mandatory, dude, the collector's editions, and I know that Howie has all of his stuff, but the Halo Reach collector's edition, the Skyrim collector's edition, the Battlefield collector's edition, some of the Final Fantasy VII, these statues that came with. But the problem is, no one's buying the physical game. I'm guilty of this. I'm not buying the physical games now. I'm buying them digital. But
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you right now, man, I am waffling hardcore on the Black Flag Resync Collector's Edition. I don't know if you've
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it.
Let me see if I can pull it up because it is it's Edward and
Is it like the original AC4?
the statue.
Yeah.
So it is no, it's unique to Resync. Let me see if I can. Here we go. It is so good. Like he's sitting on a throne with a
Oh,
wheel
that's pretty
behind
good,
him,
actually.
dude. It's legit. Like, and this collection edition comes with all kinds of other stuff.
When's this actually come out?
July 9th. So just a couple months.
What is it releasing on everything?
Yes, dude. I don't.
You know what my question's getting ready to be?
What?
Can I play it on the Switch?
You
Or is
know,
it just PS5 and Xbox?
I think it's just PS5, Xbox, PC.
I mean, I have a Portal. That's fine.
Yeah, but no, I will be wearing out.
That Wayne talks about how that's one of his favorite of all time because the pirates and the ship combat and everything.
Yes, yeah. But that's a collector's edition that I may get. I just haven't decided. So,
but I think that about does it for this bonus level, right?
Yep. That wraps up bonus level, this side quest. Let's go ahead and jump into our on-brand side quest, which is split screen. So split screen, like we talked about in our story mode, talking about iconic sounds and our hearing and how it makes us nostalgic and feel good and warm and fuzzy. Split screen specifically is thinking about how the music then and how it was kind of this 8-bit sound but still at a score level, and then now how we have these like full-blown orchestras.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. Like I know you've been to a couple of the orchestras. Like you went to Metal Gear, right?
I went to Metal Gear in Los Angeles, and I think I've told this exact story. I'm going to tell it again, but I was in New Orleans from Sunday to or no, I was in Chicago from Sunday to Thursday.
Working, right?
Working, and then I flew back. Was only here on Friday, but then caught a red eye out Friday night. Flew to L.A. and then Saturday morning, went to Venice Beach, went to In-N-Out Burger, and then got an Uber, went by Nakatomi Plaza, from Die Hard, and then went to the show. And then Rahul Kohli, who is the star of the new Sorrows game that just came out, but was also in the show iZombie and some other shows.
Oh, just real quick with him. Did you see that he bought his game from GameStop?
Yeah, he used to work at GameStop when he was a kid. Yeah. And yeah, he did a post that said from selling these games to being on one. But he's the guy who, when I was outside smoking, he came out and asked for a cigarette, and I gave it to him. And I was like, hey, I said, you're from iZombie. And we had a whole conversation about Metal Gear. But that was my first like orchestra.
I've only been to one. There was one last year that wasn't a game centric one, but it was for Naruto that I wanted to go to, and I didn't get to go. But
this year they're on tour. They've got Attack on Titan, but I think the closest one to here is St. Louis. I don't think I'm going to go. I know. It would be so good. You doing 6-7? What are you doing?
Maybe.
No, but the thing that I find interesting, though, aside from getting to the modern aspect, though, I didn't know. So I did some research to kind of understand, I guess, the progression of how the sounds worked in games and things like that. And apparently, like the old 8-bit era, they weren't necessarily like composers. They were more engineers, because literally the music had to be written into the code of the game, not like sheet music. So that's what, like, every melody was like just looping. Like it was just the same thing over and over and over, which I think is what made it, like Zelda and Mega Man, like the constraints that they were under, it kind of forced this creativity. But I think that's also why it's so drilled in our head, is because it was this looped kind of back and forth thing. But then it got to be more like easier, I guess, with like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis because the sound chips got better. Now it was still coded, but like Chrono Trigger, Sonic, you started to see very specific genres kind of get defined. Like you remember playing Sonic, how each level the music was like very specific to that level.
Yeah.
Like you got into the industrial level and it sounded all industrial. And also, I think I mentioned it above, but we didn't verbally mention it here. That sound when you're drowning in Sonic, dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Dude, that's another one that's like super traumatic. Like when you hear it, it's just like, oh my god. Um, but once they got to CDs, so your PlayStation era, even the Sega Saturn, etc. Well, now they could record audio. So it wasn't this whole concept of composers having to be engineers and putting the music into the code. Like they could actually record music. And then that's like the era. So we're talking PS1 and, where games started to kind of chase movies. It wasn't just about gameplay. They were able to tell stories through music and and our senses, so not just feel and sight, but now we're using our ears. But then now you see how we have these full orchestras with Halo, Skyrim, God of War, Death Stranding, and then Expedition 33. Dude, I hope and pray. Now, did you see? Now, I know Rob, I went to the Metal Gear concert. You brought up wanting to go to the Naruto concert. You didn't see Lindsey Sterling, right?
No, Becca went.
That's right.
The only concert that I've ever been to, like I said, I made a comment about it earlier, is the Zelda concert. I went to Zelda for the Legend of Zelda Symphonic Orchestra. Yeah, I think it was because I remember we went to.
Was it at the Palace?
Huh?
Was it at the Palace? The Louisville Palace?
No, it was a KCA, I think.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I know that is because, or I don't remember if it was at KCA or if it was it might have been at the Brown. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But we went to the spaghetti factory first, like because anytime I do something downtown, most of the time that's what I do.
Spaghetti factory.
That's
what
where
a lot
we
of
like.
People do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the restaurant. We sat in the trolley and stuff, and then went.
That's fair. If you went to Spaghetti Factory, it could have been at the Brown because I think they were like right there.
Well, I remember parking and we walked everywhere. Like we never got back in our car till we left.
That's the best part about going downtown is not driving anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, but so Lindsey Sterling is someone who now there's several people who have done this, but Lindsey Sterling has covers.
Oh, all of them. I've seen
Zelda,
all of them.
Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, Halo. And when I went and saw Lindsey Sterling, it was at Mercury Ballroom, and she had just come out with a new album. So the bulk of what she was playing was her music, but the one cover that she did was Zelda. And of course, everyone went freaking nuts. Like there were actually people who showed up to her concert dressed up as Link. Like I remember seeing some of the green tunics and stuff. But she did there's a guy named I think his name's Peter Hollins. She does the Halo with him, and he sings. Or no, there's a guy named Joseph something does piano. But Skyrim, he does the singing, like the voice for the Dovahkiin or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But all of these though, so Attack on Titan is touring right now. Death Stranding is touring right now. Like these are orchestras for a freaking video game that are on tour. PlayStation, now it got canceled and I was super salty, but Brian and I were supposed to go to PlayStation in concert in November, which was at the Center for the Arts, but they canceled it. Now I don't know why, but I'm very irritated. But that was going to have it had a list of the themes and stuff, and it was like Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, so I mean several different games, but it was very Sony focused. But I think all of the Expedition concerts though have all been overseas. I don't think they've done any of them in the States yet. But
that's what I was going to look. So that's one of the things I was looking at because we were talking about concerts. So the Attack on Titan one's actually, I guess they've already done the one that you were talking about.
Oh, St. Louis.
So it looks like they literally have a couple of them that are close to us in July, and then they don't have anything until January.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and that's in New York.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I had looked whenever they first announced it, and I legitimately thought about it because I did the Hans Zimmer concert in Indy back in September, um, and see that's the thing. So no, Nobetsu Umatsu, the guy who did Final Fantasy VII, like he is now like a famous composer. He is a famous composer, not just in the game world, but then you've got folks like Hans Zimmer and other people who have done film and everything else
Yeah.
who are now coming over into games. I mean, the music isn't just about, it's the same way, like in movies, it makes you feel a certain way because of something going on in the movie. But for games, it reacts to the gameplay in real time. There's combat, there's intensity. Whether you're exploring, you brought it up in Zelda, music that plays when you're exploring, music that plays when you're in danger, because it's not just a track playing; it's a whole system, I guess. And it's just nuts to think about. We went from the 8-bit stuff to now full blown orchestras.
Yeah, the orchestras are crazy to me. Like I said, like I had a lot of fun at the Zelda orchestra, and it was fun whenever you heard something. You're like, okay, hey, look, I know where that's from. Like I know exactly like what part of the game it's from. Like
exactly.
well, and it was cool. I don't know how they did it with Metal Gear. Like, did they go through the games? Like they started like Metal Gear 1, then 2.
Yep.
So they did the same thing with Zelda, where it was like,
and I'm guessing Zelda had a screen behind it with stuff playing,
and it would play stuff. So like they did like Wind Waker and Skyward Sword, and because it was for the 25th anniversary, I think is what they did that one specifically for. So it was like they had Ocarina of Time, then it would show like a Majora's Mask song, and it would put Majora's like the whichever's where it was at in Majora's Mask. So
yeah,
the orchestras are really cool. I would like to go. I actually would the AOT one if it was closer. I probably would try to go to that.
Dude, it would be so amazing, so amazing. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it for our side quest split screen. So let's go ahead and jump into our save point. All right. Well,
Real quick, you know one that we forgot with Mario?
What?
Yoshi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we forgot that one.
And you know what though? How and even the sound when Yoshi comes out of the egg.
Yep.
Or however that sound is.
Yep. But now let's go back to our save point.
Yeah. So down that nostalgic rabbit hole. I hope that as we talked through some of these sounds, obviously we can't play the sounds, and we did probably a piss poor job of trying to replicate some of them. But I hope you hear these and you're like, man, I do remember that, or oh man, I'm gonna go download that. I'll tell you right now, like I'm totally gonna download some soundtracks that I didn't even think about, that we talked about. Honestly, those Eminem songs from Call of Duty, I completely forgot. I feel like I need to go and add them to my random Spotify playlist.
Yeah, they're good songs too.
Yeah. But yeah, so we got into a lot of stuff, and all things audio related when it comes to game sounds and music. As always, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, taking a listen. Next week, I believe we're gonna stay with the music theme. Is the plan, and we're going to be getting into just general music at this point in time. We've talked about this several different times, but we're going to do something that kind of goes through our life cycle of music and have some fun.
Our favorite, what we listened to growing up, things of that nature.
Yeah, we get to go through all the different phases and things, but we always appreciate you hanging out with us and giving us a listen, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you're getting.
We appreciate it.
Yep. And, you can always reach out on any of the various social media platforms. Discord.
Yeah, Discord. We got it.
I got it. But any of the various platforms as well.
I was waiting.
I was watching you so intently. The Midnight Release Pod at gmail.com as well is where you can reach out to us. But otherwise, I think we're going to get ready to go see this Mortal Kombat movie. And
we
next week
appreciate it.
we'll
Thanks,
talk
everybody.
about it.
We're going to go see somebody cut in half, probably.
Get over here. I don't know. Who knows what we'll see. So, but either way, just remember that some memories are worth lining up for.